In the 1970s, Japan deemed Wagyu a national treasure, and so that stopped any exports from Japan from then on. The United States, comparatively compared to Australia, is very, very behind in the Wagyu industry. And so with the elevated product that Wagyu is, that is really, I think, what drove Dave to, hang on, I think that there's something here that we could really grow.
Like, as far as what makes Wagyu different, it is a breed of cattle, and it does have that marbling. It's just genetically special. It sets it apart. It's going to be, at least double the marbling that you're going to get from like your USDA prime beef.
What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got some very special guests here with me with Booth Creek Wagyu, got it that time. And guys, I'm really excited to have them. I've got Bryce here on my right, Emma and Danny on my left. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead. I want to jump in first. I want to give you guys an opportunity to kind of introduce yourselves, what you do here, and let's go start with Bryce.
Yeah. My name is Bryce Hendricks. I'm the retail market manager here for Manhattan. So what that means is I make sure that we got beef on the floor to sell to customers who come in, give them our story, make sure that our sales associates are given that high-end customer experience that we strive for here, and that they get an opportunity to try our steaks with our sampling kitchen. So that's pretty much what I do.
I love it. Emma?
I'm Emma Porter, and I am our national wholesale manager. So what I do is I get our Wagyu into high-end restaurants all over the United States. So that means here in Manhattan, Kansas City, Florida, everywhere, places that really align with Booth Creek's vision and mission.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Danny Hartung. I'm executive assistant to all branches. So a really cool thing about Booth Creek Wagyu is that we are a vertically integrated business, meaning that every part of the process from ranch to plate falls under our umbrella. So I will assist our herd manager at the ranch, our feedlot manager, everyone that works at Meatworks can call upon me, and then of course our owner and CEO, Dave Dreiling, I assist him as well.
Fantastic. I appreciate it. And again, thank you guys for joining me here. So, well, let's kind of dive into it, right? You said with what you guys do here, you're all over the country, right? Where did it begin? Why did it begin here in Manhattan? What does that look like?
So in 2020, Dave Dreiling, who was already a very well-established entrepreneur in the Flint Hills area, decided that he was going to sort of dive into the agriculture side of things. He comes from a business background, but he's been such a good student over the last 5 years of this industry and this specific business that it's amazing how quickly he's grown it. When Dave first started out, he had some hunting land in the Flint Hills near Oldsburg, and he decided that he was going to invest in some Wagyu bulls. He ended up with too many bulls for the cows that he had, so he grew a herd out of it, and we ended up with the herd that we have today. So we're very thankful that he sort of dove in head first and was confident in his own skills to grow this business.
Oh, fantastic. So I guess my question is, why Wagyu, and why did you guys start with that?
So Dave had an uncle that had a Wagyu bull, if I remember right. And so really, Dave has no prior prior ag involvement. And so this was totally out of left field compared to what he was typically used to. And why Wagyu? I know that breed sounds maybe different, or maybe you've heard of the breed Wagyu, but it's a breed of cattle that comes from Japan. In the 1970s, Japan deemed Wagyu a national treasure, and so that stopped any exports from Japan from then on. And so every Wagyu, the type of genetics that we have here in the States, was only what we had from the 1950s, which was not very much at all. The United States, comparatively compared to Australia, is very, very behind in the Wagyu industry. And so with the elevated product that Wagyu is, that is really, I think, what drove Dave to, hang on, I think that there's something here that we could really grow into.
So as Emma mentioned, the genetics originated in Japan, but by the time the export laws changed, we ended up working very closely with Australia. So at Booth Creek Wagyu today, we work closely with the Australian Wagyu Association, and some of those genetics can be traced all the way back to those original bloodlines in Japan still today. Something that's cool about that is that at our ranch, we are working to go line by line and through genetic husbandry, we can choose how to consistently reproduce this quality beef. So we know through our data that if an animal has really great numbers and it marbles really well, we can go back and see who the parents were of that animal, see what their lifespan was like, how their health was, and all the different parts of that animal's well-being and all of its history, and we can go back and reproduce that beef as well. So because we look at digital marbling percentage, which is the intermuscular fat that's found within the fibers of the beef, it's not like your normal Angus where you would see a chunk of fat here or there. It's really dispersed well between the muscle fibers, so it makes for a totally different culinary experience, and also there are health benefits to that as well that we're really proud of.
No, I love that. There's a lot more science and a lot more stuff that goes into it than I think a lot of people actually realize. So I love that being able to take it down to, like you said, I mean, genetically all the way back to the 50s is fantastic too. I think with everything that goes into Wagyu and everything that way, right? Like for that person that doesn't necessarily know, like what's the difference between what they get here at Wagyu versus going to a meat market somewhere else and getting a normal slab? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what sets Wagyu apart, I mean, obviously Danny mentioned the marbling. So you have all that intramuscular fat that really breaks down when you cook it. You get this incredible buttery richness, and it's extremely tender because of that. But then, you know, we have a lot of customers who come in for their first time and they're like, what is Wagyu? Like, is it a breed? Is it how you raise the cow? Do you give it beer and massage it, right? Like those tropes, which Danny's gonna talk about at the ranch, aren't necessarily accurate, at least not to how it's done across the industry. But like as far as what makes Wagyu different, it is a breed of cattle, and it does have that marbling. It's just genetically special. It sets it apart. It's going to be, you know, at least double the marbling that you're going to get from like your USDA prime beef. And so you're just taking something so simple and you're just elevating it to that next level. You can do this at your house. You can just take a steak, throw it on a hot cast iron pan, and just enjoy it in your own home. And that's what we allow people to do, is not have to go spend, you know, $200 a plate. They can come into our retail store, they can buy a fresh steak for that dinner, and then they can enjoy it with their family at home. So as far as like the retail end and what sets it apart, it's really that marbling, that special sort of elevated experience. And then we get to introduce a lot of people to that because it's such a small population of the U.S. beef industry is Wagyu. So yeah, I'd say that's where that goes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So with that, I guess, what sets you guys apart? What makes you different in your ranch and feedlot operation? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Booth Creek Wagyu is vertically integrated, meaning we have one sort of set of processes and we have an extremely high amount of visibility. So we pride ourselves on saying that we are a very data-driven company, and we go back and look at all of our genetic decision making and everything up through processing before that beef actually comes into the retail space for the customer to enjoy it. So at the ranch, we're able to have lots of genetic control. Our herd manager is amazing. She goes in and decides which sires and dams should pair together to bring out the best results and to yield the best beef for our customers at the end of the line. Then, of course, we have Wagyu Feeders, which is our feedlot operation, where we not only have a Wagyu-specific feed schedule that we grow out for a slower gain process that allows for that marbling to occur, and we also do that for customers and clients who want to bring their cattle to be fed out with us. And then that same client can have their beef processed where we process ours at Meatworks of Kansas, and all of these operations are within a 30-minute-ish radius of each other. So then you come all the way back to Manhattan, you come into our retail store, and you get to experience the finished product, which again, we can tie all the way back to the parentage of that animal and reproduce it if we find that something is really popular.
So what does that process, like timeline-wise, what does that process look like from calving to retail? What does that look like on that end of it?
You want to take that one?
I got it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, your commercial grade, like Angus beef, they're going to probably take anywhere from 12 to 18 months till they're ready for slaughter, right? But like Wagyu beef, you're going double the industry standard usually. So you're talking 30 to 34 months usually. And like Danny was saying, that's all about getting that gain to be slower so they can really push that intramuscular fat into them that the breed is known for. And then, you know, they're processed here. They can be on feed for like 120 days typically to get that marbling to where we need it to be. So Danny, you have anything to add to that?
So we have calves that are born on our ranch, and some of those we keep for our own herd to continue to study and go back to that data like we were talking about before. Our feeders are sent at the point of weaning off to the feedlot where they're fed out up until that point that they reach maturity and it's time to process, where they're then sorted and brought to Meatworks. At that point, it's a pretty quick process because we're able to do that all in-house. Is another advantage of being vertically integrated. And then we're able to push that product out through distribution to all of our different retail locations, and then to our wholesale and e-commerce customers.
That's awesome. So, I mean, not quick, but it's still the process. I mean, you're doing a lot of planning, a lot of things in the works on that one of it too. So, talking a little bit off camera here, right? We were talking a little bit about what sets Booth Creek apart from all of the rest of the Wagyu industry and things that way. So can you guys explain to me a little bit of what that is?
Okay, so one of the things that sets Booth Creek apart is we really want to elevate the Wagyu industry as a whole. And so what I mean by that is we're not trying to beat out other Wagyu ranchers, but the issue that we all have in hand is we're not on 99% of American plates. And so in order to raise the awareness, we really want to lift up the Wagyu industry as a whole. And so something specifically though that makes Booth Creek different is just our transparency. You've heard Danny mention it before. The fact that our whole operation happens within a 25-mile radius is really unheard of, from the moment where we raise the calves to the feeding, to the processing, the distribution in our retail store. It's really special and unique. And another way we even want to take transparency further with customers is through our grading scale. So we've already mentioned before, Bryce talked about how Wagyu has the marbling integrated throughout the meat. Instead of a chunk of fat here and there. That marbling is what makes Wagyu so elevated and different. And so we have developed a scale that we call our BC, stands for Booth Creek, and then the marbling percentage of that specific piece of meat has something attached to it. So just to give you an example, prime is going to fall anywhere between like a 10 to 12% marbling. So that would be in our BC 10 grade. We have BC 30, BC 20, BC 30, and BC 40. And so it really shows you the level of marbling that you can get. And so whenever you come into the store and you pick up a ribeye and you want something that has that rich, tender flavor, you're going to get, maybe a high BC 37 or whatever it is. And I think something unique with that transparency too is similar to wine or coffee or whiskey lovers who they find the exact taste that they're going for. Really, Wagyu is the same, where people can come in and figure out, it's not a BC 40 is absolutely the best. Some people have a preference where they don't really like that volume of richness. They want something that's maybe toned down a little bit. And something else with our labeling on the steaks, not only are you getting the transparency of, hey, here's the exact marbling percentage of the steak you're taking home, but here's also the ear tag that's associated with the cattle, where we can trace back the feed, the parents, and everything about that cattle, which really encourages the transparency within our community.
I love that, and I think the cool part about all of that is, again, back to the tracking piece of that one. So just having, even from packaging, exactly what the whole life of that cow or calf or whatever that was, the whole lifeline of that calf or what it was. So that's fantastic. So something I want to kind of, and I want to talk about the community piece of it, but first I want to kind of give an opportunity for probably you, Bryce, on what you guys have here in the retail side of things and obviously there's a bunch of coolers behind us, right? So what do you offer here in store and how do you decide what to do there?
Yeah. That kind of goes back to what makes us different. On the retail side, your typical meat market doesn't give you samples. We do. We have a hot griddle going that we are going to throw some tallow, throw a piece of steak on there, season it, and give it to you. You can be able to try it, right? So that sets us apart. It's kind of a transparency thing. Like Emma was saying, you get to try it before you buy it sort of scenario, right? So you're knowing why you're spending a high dollar for the steak is because it tastes amazing. It's very tender, very flavorful, a lot of that buttery, rich flavor. And then as far as like the other side of it, most meat markets are attached to your processing. They kind of, honestly, they're kind of grimy. They don't really have that high-end elevated experience. They smell a little bit. We try to give that like jewelry store for beef feeling within our retail market by offering that like white glove, like you come in, it's very clean. We have fresh stuff in the center. We have frozen stuff behind us in these stand-up units. So if you want to buy a gift for, let's say, your dad's birthday in a month from now, you can buy frozen. If you want to buy fresh, for for dinner that night, you can just go over to the case, pull a fresh ribeye out, pay for it, and you're on your way to cooking it at your house. So that's definitely a part of that for sure.
So many things, so many opportunities of being, I mean, Manhattan's really known for this, right? Is that community support and the community engagement. We have a lot of really good small businesses when it comes to that side of it. So what has that community engagement for you guys meant for you, and the community support as well? What has that meant for you guys here at Booth Creek?
I can speak for the retail side of it, right? Like Manhattan, we do have an elevated community here, but we also have a lot of people who they love our beef. They support us. There's a lot of customers we know by name now because we've been here for 3.5 years in our store. So we have a lot of customers who come in and they're just like, "Hey, Bryce, like, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Good." There's a lady that when I started, she was pregnant, and now she's got a 2-year-old son that I get to see almost every other week. Like, it's just really cool to be able to experience that, the growth of our customers, and that community engagement. We do activations like events out in the community. We always have a big, show up for people coming to support us there. And then, the fact that, yeah, we are a higher end marketing item, but we do have success even here in Manhattan, Kansas is just huge because that wouldn't happen without people supporting us. We wouldn't be able to do that. So it's just super cool to be able to grow beyond Manhattan because of the people here in Manhattan. So.
And I think the cool part too is being able to, like you said, elevate the industry all from a little town like Manhattan, Kansas is fantastic. So no, I love that. Anything else you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, I would like to. So also from a whole company standpoint, even though we have these lofty goals and we want to be this global company, and we're very proud to say that we're going to reach those goals and changing the way that America eats its beef, even though that sounds very lofty, I think Booth Creek is what's going to change the way America views Wagyu and views this kind of process and this sort of vertical integration business model. But we're so thankful to our local community because from ranch all the way to retail, like Bryce said, we wouldn't be able to operate the way that we do without our local community. Our heart is in our local community, and so we take the land into account. We want to be very respectful of everything that was here before us and work with the environment as well. And so we're just so fortunate to be able to grow within that space, and like Bryce mentioned again, to be supported in that from all the connections that Dave had prior to Booth Creek all the way up to our brand new customers that walk in the door for our samples. We really appreciate all of you and all of your support.
All right, so talk to me guys, with somebody watching this video, right? They want to come in and they want to purchase purchase meat from you guys. What does that look like? Do they come in? Do they purchase online? What does that look like for them?
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you're in Manhattan, please come see us at the retail store. Bryce and his crew would absolutely love to make that point of contact and those relationships. There's other ways to get our beef in your household as well. So if you maybe live outside of the Manhattan area and a trip into the retail store doesn't seem super feasible, we do ship everywhere. And so you can visit our website at boothcreekwagyu.com and place an order online that way. If you are a chef or in the restaurant industry, you own a business that maybe resells different product, I'm your girl. Wholesale is absolutely what we do, and I would love to get in contact with you. And if you go to our website and just either email or call a phone number, that's something you can do. If you're outside of the Manhattan area, we have 2 retail stores in the Kansas City area and then also down in Wichita. And early spring of this next year, we'll be entering into the Dallas market as well, which will be really exciting.
That's cool. Very cool. All right, so big question here, right? When people think Booth Creek Wagyu, whether it's retail, whether it's wholesale, whether it's just the industry in general, what do you guys want them to feel, think, and everything along those?
Yeah. On the retail side, right, obviously you get a steak sample, you get to try it, that sells the beef, but what we want you to remember is that customer experience, right? Like the relationship that you built with me, with my retail team, with the other retail associates and market managers in Kansas City and Wichita, like that personal white glove, like high-end experience, whether you bought a bag of jerky or you bought 5 ribeyes, like it doesn't matter to us. We want to build that connection with you, and we want you to remember how we made you feel, not the steak that you bought, not how good the sample was. Like we want you to know us for who we are and that personal touch. So that would be my answer on the retail side for sure.
Awesome.
I think for me with wholesale, something that I want my customers to think of whenever they think of Booth Creek is, wow, those guys care. The relationship aspect is so huge, a part of every account that we work with. And something that makes us unique too is we don't go through any third-party distributors. It's directly from Booth Creek into the customer's hand, whether that be here in the retail store, online, it's shipping directly from us, or those restaurants that are all over. I just want those people to know, if they have any questions or any issues or anything like that, they know they're going to get it taken care of.
So from an overall Booth Creek Wagyu standpoint, what we want the community to think of when they think of us is this huge value that just permeates Booth Creek culture, which is legacy. So this is Dave Dreiling's legacy. We love that we get to be a part of it, but also the community gets to be part of our legacy, and people are finding their own in it all the time. So as people continue to join our team or join our circle, we are all finding this legacy together within not only this product, but like Bryce mentioned, in the whole process. So from any part of what falls under our vertical integration, you can find something to connect with, and we'd love to visit with you about that and build that relationship, because we know that this legacy is going to last. It's so strong, and we're very, very proud of it.
No, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for allowing me to come in here today and talk with you guys. So thank you so much for that one. So, and for those of you that are still watching, I really appreciate it. Please come in, right? Come see what these guys are doing here, because it is different, right? It's very different than anything else that you've ever seen. I can promise you that. Just by coming in and walking in, literally the moment they walk in, somebody walks in, they start cooking up a little bit of sample for you, and it's fantastic. Every single time, it's a great little treat. So. But see what it is, see what they have about it, give these guys a call, reach out to them, and just kind of see the difference of what this is and what Wagyu beef really is versus the normal USDA prime beef, whatever you want to call it on that end of it, and just see the difference, because there is a very much a difference of what you can taste and what you can feel and what you actually see with what they're doing here. And again, I've said it a million times over, but I love that we're doing it here in Manhattan, and I think that's fantastic. So guys, thank you so much for watching up until this point. So if you do enjoy this content, please go and hit that subscribe button, go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. And as always, please, 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 if you know somebody who's interested in Wagyu and interested in learning a little bit more about what it is and what the heck everybody's talking about with this stuff, share this video with them, see a little bit about what they have here at Booth Creek and what this actually is, and just come in and say hi. I promise you will not be disappointed by it. And thank you again. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.